Hey everybody, how you going? Alex here. Today we're going to run through the mixing, recording and production for our new song, Boring as Batsomething. We put it out a couple of weeks ago and we produced and mixed the track ourselves, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to jump into the recording session, go over the different tracks, different elements, and talk about any fun little production tidbits or anything like that. This might be a bit of a longer video. I've never done anything like this before, so if you like seeing this kind of stuff and you want to see other videos about other songs we've done, or you have any questions about this song or the session, drop it in the comments and let me know. Never done anything like this before, so keen to hear your feedback. Also, I'm not like the biggest production dude, wizard or whatever. I just think it's super fun and empowering to be able to record your own songs. I'd encourage any artist to give it a go. So I just wanted to show you how we did this song and talk about anything fun and give you a bit of an insight into like our process, I guess. So jumping back into the session here, you can see that there's a lot of tracks and we're a two-piece band. So we definitely have the philosophy that when we're in the studio, we're trying to make the coolest song that we can. And then when we play live, we're just trying to play the coolest live version that we can. So there's definitely lots of tracks here that we wouldn't play live. And I think a lot of bands watching this could probably relate to that. But yeah, we just wanted to make the sickest song we could. For anyone who's not heard the song, I'll just play a chorus. It goes like this. It's called Boring as Batsomething. All right. She's loading. So yeah, that's it. It's a fun, kind of bouncy, punky rock song. We've got basic instrumentation stuff going on here. We've got drums, you can see all in red. Guitars are in yellow. We've got some clean guitars, rhythm guitars, and leads. Bass in blue. Synths in pink. There's a little synth part in the chorus, but it's pretty quiet. We've got some more effects in like a light pink. Vocals in green, and then in light blue here, we've got backing vocals at the bottom. I like to group the tracks up kind of like that. It's always the same. Also at the top, I put in markers for the individual sections of the songs. You can see like chorus, pre-chorus. That really helps me like know which part of the song we're in. I really like to do that for everything. It gives me like a lay of the land for how we're working. So I might just start with like the drums. I'm not going to go into each track and every single effects and plug-in and stuff that's on there because I think it would take like a whole hour or more. I don't know. But I can give you a play through the bit and talk about it a little. So the drums in the chorus sound like this. We recorded these at Wrangler Studios. Is that going to play for me? I think there we go. So we were definitely going for like a modern, punchy drum sound. There's a bunch of room on there that you can hear. There's definitely a lot of compression. I'm using parallel compression in a bus up the top. Also some parallel distortion and a bunch of reverb on the snare drum to give that big, airy kind of drum thing. On the individual drums, we had a drum kit that was already set up at Wrangler that we used. We were very lucky. We were going to bring Katie's drums, and Press Club was recording at Wrangler. Greg from Press Club was really helpful to me when we were recording there because I'd not recorded at Wrangler before. And we'd used their drum kit. Katie bought her snare drum, but the rest of it was theirs. The cymbals are obviously Katie's. And so it was just a kick, snare, floor tom, no rack tom, 2 overhead mics, 2 room mics, a crotch mic, which is kind of a mic pointed. Yeah, you could, at the drummers, you can figure that out. And, obviously snare bottom. And there was 2 kick mics, a kick in and a kick out. And there's also some samples on here, which help get the level of the kick and snare drum above the cymbals. I'll play the drums with and without the samples. It's a massive difference. Noting that the samples we used were recordings of Katie playing the drums in the room. So she's hit the drums and I've recorded that and I'm blending that back in. So it's the same snare sound. I'll just mute the samples and I'll give that a play for you. And that's a pretty massive difference. So here it is without. There we go. So that's it without the samples. And with. Without. With. Okay, so it's a pretty big difference. I think that in this case, because I kind of took samples from Katie's kit, I used those to capture a lot of that room sound and to be able to get a really front-forward kick and snare sound without having to bring the levels of the cymbals up and giving you a lot of control on that, and then leaving the nuance of the snare drum to the non-sample hits. I also recorded a lot of samples, so there's variation in the stick hits there. You know, this leans pretty heavily on those now that I look back at it. Maybe I'm a poser for that, but you can make up your own mind. Moving into the song a bit more, there's some clean guitars. They only come in the first chorus section, and this is just my orange. I got a CR120 amp with a 212 cab, and I'm using probably an SM57, I reckon, and a Telecaster. Pretty basic stuff. We'll just give those a spin. So they come in just in that quiet chorus section. Boring, don't ask questions, there's no answers anyway. Boring is yeah, pretty basic. I'm not really adding many plugins or anything to this, just a clipper, apparently, to control some peaks. Sketch cassette, which is a fun little tape cassette plug-in, adds a bit of wow and flutter, a bit of saturation, and then a bit of EQ. Pretty basic stuff. Rhythm guitars. So this makes up, you know, a large amount of what I would play live, and then also just fills in heaps of the sound for the song. So these are, Telly through a CR120 again. I'm using some guitar pedals in there as well. Probably an OCD overdrive, and then maybe one pedal on my Helix, probably like I think it would have been like the Minotaur clone that the Helix has, and I would have used different pedals for the left and right guitars. So they're double tracked, pan left and right, and I probably use different pedals and different guitars for both. I usually would use maybe a Strat for one, a Telly for one, or two different Tellys, but at least I always try to use a different guitar and different sound for the left and right. Just because I feel like it makes it a bit wider and gives it a bit more, I don't know, stereo width. So this is the right guitar and left. Yeah, you can hear the right guitar's a bunch fizzier there. As far as plugins on these, got a bit of compression, some EQ. Soothe is probably doing a little bit of pulling out some harsh stuff, some tape emulation, and a clipper. I don't know what I'm using the clipper for. Seems that I am clipping some stuff on the guitars, which is pretty hectic. But, you know, it's too late now. Probably didn't need that, but anyway, who cares? So, yeah, I mean, the guitars make up a big portion of the song. There's also a center guitar here that I recorded, which is just like a kind of different pickup with some kind of chorus effects on it that I bring in the chorus of the song. And you can hear the difference when that's in and out. Here's the chorus. And without. And back in. Yeah, so just that third guitar gives it a bit of weight and lift. There's some lead guitars in the song as well. These are just as a single one that goes through most of the song as a lead guitar part. It's mixed very quiet because I don't really play this stuff live very much. So there's kind of two cool lead parts in this song. The first one is in these verses, this kind of tremolo line that comes in. That's really sick. I really like the texture that kind of adds. You can also hear in the right ear there that I've panned reverb off to the right side for that guitar, it sounds like. Don't remember doing that, but it sounds pretty cool. The other cool thing is that the leads are panned kind of more centrally, and then in the chorus, when it opens up into the kind of main chorus section, the second lead guitar comes in, and it goes a lot wider into this other cool riff. And that was one of my favorite part about the leads. You can hear it here. Just playing the leads by themselves. Fuck, I had the song on loop. Hold on, I'll do that one more time. Yeah, it's a sick riff. Yeah, it's one of my favorite parts about the lead guitars. I don't think there's anything too crazy going on with them. Yeah, I've got 4 plugins on the leads here. You can see there's a compressor, another compressor, an EQ, and Soothe, doing a bit of pulling out some resonant frequencies. I'm also sending the leads to a delay bus or a delay send that's adding a bit of delay. But yeah, basic stuff. They would have just been my telly through the CR120 as well. So probably with a bit of a brighter setting on the guitar, a bit more distortion and stuff, but pretty basic. Now let's talk about bass. So we don't have a bass player, but there's bass on the recordings. And this is a Fender Precision bass into my Helix with an amp simulator, and then I also recorded a DI and blended those to get a bass sound. The bass in these songs is not mixed like super loud or present. I would say that I've gone for a bit more of a low end thing. It provides this low end, but it's not like I feel like a part of the song that you're going to miss live. Obviously, live I do have like a setup to play bass notes at the same time as the guitar, but I don't want there to be like an iconic bass part that's not really there or something. But there is bass in the recordings, because without that it would sound like shit. Yep, that sounds like a bass guitar. There's a Soothe on here. I like to do this to kind of even out the low frequencies of different notes. You know, bass guitars, when you play a note, they ring at different. Some notes will ring way more resonant than other notes. So Soothe, just doing a little bit to control that. Some tape, some compression, a sub synthesizer to add a bit more weight to it, and some EQ. So fairly basic there. Basic. I didn't. That's so disgusting, Alex. Yeah, without the bass, like the whole song goes away, you know? And with the bass in, who would have thought? So yeah, we've got to use bass in the songs, even though we're a 2-piece, because if you don't, it sounds like shit. Alright, so jumping next to the synth, there's a little synth in the second parts of the chorus that just plays the vocal melody line, and I've mixed it really quiet. Do, 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 do. Yeah, you can barely hear it. I think I started with more of an idea where that would like kind of lift the vocal melody forward, and I'd distort the synth bit, and it would sound kind of cool with the vocal, but I think in the end it didn't work the way I wanted, and I probably just either decided to turn it down instead of muting it, but it's quite quiet in there. Then there's a little bit of some swells here in the effects track, which are feedback swells. And this is just a feedback noise I've recorded, and then I've made it kind of swell up in volume to enter into new sections of the song. And that does so much heavy lifting in this quiet chorus here. You can hear it. It just brings so much energy. It tells you that the song's going to come into a loud, heavy bit because you're hearing the guitar feedback. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do, guitar feedback swells. I just absolutely love that. Let me just grab my coffee. All right. All right, moving down to the vocals. There's a lot of different vocal tracks here. I like to layer vocals quite a bit, and this song has a lot of that in the chorus. If we just start with the lead vocals, there's throughout the whole song main vocal and a vocal double. The double is just a bit quieter than the lead vocal. I've just sung that again. So you can hear the lead vocals here, and then I'll bring the double in. There's a bit of a difference once you add the double in. Here we go. Life is boring when you're... I'll jump to maybe the proper chorus. Life is boring when you're and the double. Boring. Don't ask questions. There's no... So these vocals are compressed pretty heavily, you know, fighting with guitars and drums in a loud rock song. So I'm going pretty heavy-handed with that. There's also a bunch of tape kind of emulation stuff, some distortion to make it sound really aggressive. I wasn't really going for a natural vocal sound. I think I was going for something a bit more like in your face or whatever. In the choruses, there's also a low octave that comes in. So me singing the vocal line, the octave below. Life is boring when you're boring. Don't ask questions. And that adds so much weight. I've always noticed with my voice, it's quite high, resonant-y, and having that low voice gives it so much thickness when you're singing choruses especially. Life is boring when taking that low voice out. Life is boring when you're boring. Don't ask questions. Yeah, you really miss that. There's also a wide vocal, which is me singing the song again, the chorus again, and then panning the vocals really wide. I think I'm using a micro shift for that. Yeah, little micro shift by Sound Toys to just make it a wider. Life is boring when you're boring. Don't ask. And that pushes the vocals out nice and wide on this track, and that's blended in with the main vocal, so you can hear the difference there. Playing the chorus again. Life is boring when you're and adding in the wides. Don't ask questions. There's no answers anyway. Boring is Batsomething. Yeah, and that just fights the vocals through the wall, guitars and drums, makes them super wide, loud and present. There's also Katie's vocals here, and it's the same thing. We've got a Katie lead and a Katie double. In all of her vocal parts, you can hear those. A lot of effects on some of those parts where I've made a little delay effect throw here. And then there's also a low vocal of mine underneath Katie's vocal. Katie's got quite like a soprano voice. And sometimes the vocal feels a bit thin over the top of like kind of these heavy guitars and drums. So if we add in a low vocal of mine singing her part underneath it, it really adds a lot of weight. Yeah. What else? Any other cool vocal stuff? No, I don't think so. In the second verse here, there's one little thing where Katie sings this blah, 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 blah. And I've used a tape simulator effect, like the stop tape button to make it go blah. And I thought that was really cool. Where is it? Pre-chorus, here we go. I was very proud of myself with that. Sounded sick. Moving over to the backing vocals. So there's a bunch of harmonies in the song. Some of these didn't end up being as present as I thought they were going to be. You can hear here, I'll play through kind of the verse, adding the backing vocals in. So, reality goofs, I love a blue sky. So there's Katie's kind of boring parts there. There's a harmony in the verse as well. When I grow up, I'll be a rock star. When I grow up. Yep, and then later on in the verse, there's kind of this me like a race car that sings here. It's a bunch of vocals. When I grow up, I'll be a rock star. I drive my Camry like a race car.
I drive my Camry like a race car. My mind wanders,
That didn't become as present, that kind of car bit, in the actual song, but I really like it. It just didn't feel like it fit loud enough, so it's mixed a bit quieter. In the pre-chorus here, there's some backing vocals on the line stress to make it really loud and ridiculous.
And I'm calm when I'm under stress. A bit of rock.
Stress! I imagine that's what stress sounds like. And it looks like there's some more harmonies here. What are these ones?
The baby to bed. With your life, I'm bored.
Yeah, baby to bed. Baby to bed.
Baby to bed. With your life, I'm bored.
Sick. Yeah, those are just there to add a bit of width. They're panned out left and right, to add a bit of, I guess, tonal thickness and stuff. My philosophy with harmonies is just vibe it. Put one in where it feels right. I feel like if you put things everywhere, you can't accent everything, right? You got to pick something to go for. And so in the choruses, I've done that harmonies on the main lines. So you can listen here and you can see it. I've kind of got harmonies popping up just on the primary bits of the chorus lines. So
Boring is bad something. Might as well do nothing. Whatever is going, life is boring.
yeah, boring is about something, nothing kind of thing, to accent it. Playing the full chorus, I'll go to the second chorus here, and there's a bunch of harmonies.
Life is boring when you're boring. Don't
So there's a pair of high harmonies and a pair of low harmonies there.
boring. Don't ask questions.
Without them.
There's no answers anyway.
And with them.
Boring is bad something. Might as well do nothing. Whatever is going, life is boring.
So they add a heap of width, really fill the song out and help the vocals kind of fight over the guitars. I was going for kind of a big upfront vocal sound, and having those harmonies in there really helped that out. Vocal-wise, the only last thing I think I'll talk about now, we're hitting 20 minutes in this video, so it's got longer than I thought, but is a little, in the bridge, I've just got a vocal effect track here. I think I rendered all the effects off the lead vocal and then just kind of filtered it out and added some reverb and stuff just to put this kind of vocal in the bridge of the song into a different space.
Boring. I'd rather do nothing than try and do something. I know where it's going. Life is boring.
And I was just trying to do that to kind of make the bridge a separate part of the song, make it feel like it's a bit of a scene change, and then before you go back into the guitar solo, which I actually should talk about. That's another fun little thing. So there's a guitar solo that I'm playing on the lead guitars here. There's a DI I recorded and a amp track. I think the DI, I've got like just a distortion plugin on there, and the guitar solo doesn't look to have any effects on there. Oh, I might have frozen those, but I think it's like just compression and reverb and stuff, and maybe a little bit of Alter Boy, Soundtoys Alter Boy, to pitch it up a little bit. It sounds like this. Let me have a, it's going to play for me. There we go. So that's the guitar solo, but then there's also a vocal solo over the top, which is me singing the guitar solo, and you can kind of hear this in the recording. I thought it'd be really dumb if I sung the solo in the way that you would sing a lead line if you were telling your friends about how it went, like down, now, 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 and that's what it goes like this. And the kind of stop and that little riff at the end was very, like, I'd say Weezer influenced. But I thought it'd be really fun to have a stop in this. And it's I think the mix of the vocal singing with the guitar solo really adds a lot. I'll just play it with the solo now and then bring the vocal bit in. So you can hear there how significant that vocal bit is. It's really massive, and it adds so much thickness to the guitar sound, and how much of that solo sound is really just me making with, I guess there's probably a bit of distortion on my voice. I've definitely tuned it so that it's on pitch with the guitar solo, and it looks like I've frozen the effects here just to commit to it, but it would have just been some EQ compression. Probably Little Alter Boy again by Sound Toys to add a pitcher kind of effect and some distortion for sure as well. I got a couple of plugins on like a music bus here. I kind of send all my tracks to a music bus and all the vocals to a vocal bus. So instruments to music bus, vocals to vocal bus, and then I can process those separately if I want to. On the music bus, I've just got a compressor, a Pultec EQ, a multi-band compressor that's just compressing the low end under 150 hertz, just a tiny little bit to give a bit of thickness. I got a limiter, but I don't think that's doing anything. And this dirt thing is just turning on in a certain section of the song, I think. I don't know when. Yeah, there's a mix knob that I've automated on there, and I think in the second verse this comes on. And you can hear the change there. That turns on and it adds a bit of dirt. Probably it adds a bit of an EQ filter as well and makes the whole song sound darker. Yeah, you can hear when you take that off, all the brightness comes back. So I'm doing that to change the second verse into a new kind of scene of the song. And I just find you can just put a plug-in on your music bus or your master bus. It doesn't matter. So that's pretty much everything on the music bus. Master bus, I've got a comparison kind of referencing tool here. Gulfos is on there doing a little bit. I've got a compressor. And a slight stereo widening, and then a clipper. And I think I wouldn't be actually doing any clipping. That's just to control the outer level. No, I lie. Oh no, but that's just the start. When I start again, it always clips. Yeah, it's not doing any actual clipping outside of when you hit play. It always clips the first one for some reason, but that's just to control the outer level of the song. So when I export it, it can be the volume that I want without having to limit it. So yeah, that's our song. I don't know if I missed anything. If you have any questions about the production or you want to see more of this, drop it in the comments. How long was this video? 28 minutes? Yeah, 28 minutes. Look, that was fun. I'd love to do more of these. Let me know if you want me to go more in depth on anything. It's hard to go through all the tracks of the song and make it like somewhat concise because there's always so much going on, even in a simple rock song. I really love talking about this stuff and doing it. So let me know your thoughts, and thanks for watching, anyone who watched 28 minutes of this video. Speak to you soon.